Well, hi everybody, and I'm here with Dr. Daniel Amen, who is the leading expert on brain health in the world. Many of us have all read his books, and it's an honor to have you here with us. Dr. Amen, really glad to have you. I want to ask you a few things. The first book I ever read by you was Healing ADD. And so what I want us to do is you talk to me, because I am your patient, and you be frank with me about these things. First thing, I'm very focused and I'm very organized, but I'm extremely absent-minded and I have dyslexia with numbers. So talk to me, as a pastor, I see mental stress going way up. I'm on the front line seeing this all of the time, seeing mental stress going up. Is that true, and why is that happening?
Well, it's sort of an ADD question.
Yeah.
Because there's like 3 questions in there.
Yeah. Well, pick whichever one you want to answer.
So what we do at our clinics, we do brain imaging because it really, if you have some features of ADD, but not others, like being focused and organized, then you have to go, well, what's going on in your brain? Did you inherit it? So thinking about ADD, it's inherited. You can see it in your people, you know, your parents and aunts, uncles, cousins, and so on. If you can't, it could have been driven by a brain injury. Somebody played football in high school or fell off their bike. So the first most important thing is to get an accurate diagnosis of what's going on with you, because then when you have the roadmap, you can then optimize the trail. And so that's the first thing. No question, stress is going up dramatically. And most people don't know, as the stress in your life goes up, if you don't have a stress management program, the fat in your belly gets bigger because...
Oh, really?
Because when you have increased stress, a hormone called cortisol goes up, and your body goes, oh, there's an emergency. Store fat, and it stores it in its belly. And chronic exposure to stress hormones kills cells in an area of the brain called the hippocampus, which is the major memory structure. So with stress, life becomes more stressful because you're more overweight and you have trouble thinking. So being on a regular stress management practice, which could be regular prayer, could be doing simple forms of meditation. And meditation fooled us because I thought when we scanned people, meditated, oh, everything's calming down very nicely. Absolutely not what happens. What happens is the front part of your brain, which is the most human, thoughtful part of your brain. It's the parent in your head. It's like the boss in your head or the pastor in your head, activates when you meditate strongly. In fact, after 8 weeks, your resting brain is stronger. And it's very simple. I mean, there's a meditation exercise from Harvard. It's not religious at all. It's called the relaxation response. Take a big breath. Right? Blow it out. Every time you breathe out, say the word 1. Do it for 10 minutes. You got all these thoughts coming in your head. Imagine a big broom, sweep them away. And if you can just take some time and pray or meditate, it decreases stress. Your brain is better, make better decisions. I mean, that's the thing that's horrifying me. Is people are making bad decisions.
Now, I've heard you talk about the gut being the second brain. And I've also heard you talk about the dinosaur syndrome, that the more weight we put on, that affects your brain. About 10 years ago, 2 things happened. I started traveling internationally, and I started gaining weight every single year because on the road, I was not eating right and eating enormous amounts of food at banquets and stuff like that. So talk to me about brain health and body weight, the connection.
It's horrifying. I mean, if you really understand the new research, it's a study from the University of Pittsburgh, and what it showed is as your weight went up, the actual physical size of your brain went down.
Does that make my sermons longer and longer?
It makes you not as smart over time, and you are a national treasure. And being healthy is important unless you're like, I'm done. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to retire. Now, let me tell you this story. I was on the Huckabee show with Mike Huckabee. And Governor Huckabee's gained a lot of weight recently. He lost a lot. Now he's gained a lot.
He's gained it back. Yeah.
He's gained it back. And he told me about his travel schedule, which your story made me think of it, is he's up like every morning at 4 o'clock to catch another plane. He doesn't sleep well. And did you know, so practical thing, if you get less than 6 hours of sleep at night, you have lower overall blood flow to your brain. Now, what that means is more bad decisions, right? Anything that affects blood flow to your brain in a negative way is bad for the physical functioning. And so I asked Mike the same question. I said, so how long do you want to do this? I mean, is like this just a gig for the next couple of years and then you're done? He's like, no, this is my life. I said, well, then you need to get healthy because otherwise you're not going to be as smart as you could be, and you're in a place of influence. See, you are in a place of influence, and we want you to influence the world with the best brain possible.
Well, now that goes to another question I want to ask, and that is the question of motivation. I'm obviously not motivated by looking better because I'm already very sexy. And I've been married 35 years, and she's going to love me no matter what I look like. So I'm not trying to be Brad Pitt. Who's he? I was actually once on the cover of Newsweek with Brad Pitt, and it had Brad at the front and about 5 other people, and then I'm at the very back. And my kids always called it the "Where's Waldo" Newsweek. It's like, Dad, you looks like you just walked into the picture there. And I said, yeah, it's the stud and the dud. But anyway, the way that my metabolism, the way I eat is, I'm not hungry till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I get up in the morning, I could fast till noon any day of the week, or till 2 o'clock. But then it kicks in and I'm hungrier and hungrier and hungrier and all eating at all the wrong times. So talk to me about the timing on that for a minute and why that's wrong.
Well, what you're doing by not having breakfast is your blood sugar is going low, and then it's going lower, and then it's going lower, and your judgment is now going lower and lower.
That's
people
why I have
who
my
lose
meetings
weight,
in the afternoon. Yeah.
people who lose weight, they have breakfast. People who lose weight and keep it off, they have breakfast. So one of the ways to get your cravings under control is to balance your blood sugar. And the surprising thing for me, before I got healthy, is I actually eat more during the day. Now, I don't eat more food, and I eat higher quality
More
calories,
often.
but I'm eating 5 or 6 times a day. If you ask my staff, he's like, he's always eating. Because I know with a stable blood sugar, I'm gonna have control over my life. And then the other thing, if you eat foods that trigger your cravings, so if you're putting, NutraSweet and Splenda and things like that in your coffee, what you're doing is you're basically triggering yourself. So you want to be smart and use these very simple brain healthy things. And probably because you work a lot, you're not in the sun a lot, low levels of vitamin D have been associated with obesity, Alzheimer's disease, depression, immune system problems, and boosting vitamin D has been shown.
Excuse me, I forgot what you said. Can you say it again? All of those things because of vitamin D.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. 2/3 of our country is overweight. 2/3 of our country have low levels of vitamin D.
Wow.
And it's simple. Either spend 20 minutes in the middle of the day and get some sun. Now, don't get burned. I mean, don't be stupid. Or take vitamin D3. Same with fish oil. Fish oil has omega-3 fatty acids in it.
I take fish oil.
How much do you take?
I take 3, I guess it's 1,000 mgs.
So 3,000 milligrams a day would be perfect for you. So you want to get your vitamin D level checked. And how are you with the exercise?
I have a trainer that I've worked out with for 2.5 years. He was for 11 years the trainer of the, he's actually one of our staff, volunteer staff guys here. Trained for 11 years with the Nebraska Cornhuskers and then 5 years with the Angels. And, I work out and I have a lot of muscle. I just eat enormous quantities of food between 2 p.m. and midnight.
So let me ask you your goal. What moves you? What do you? What motivates you? What do you
moves me,
want
and the reason I'm putting
from a health
myself
standpoint?
under all of this embarrassment is because not only do I want the next 10 years to be the best 10 years of my life, but I want it to be the best 10 years of my church. And I am jealous for not just my own health, but for the health of our church. And so we're not doing this to look better. That would be a nice benefit. But because of the stewardship of health, that everything God gives you is a gift. And the Bible says one day we will be held accountable. The first question of life is, what did you do with my son? And the second question of life is, that God's going to ask us is, what did you do with what I gave you? And one of the things that God gave us is the stewardship of health. And that's why we're starting Decade of Destiny with the body and with the brain, that if I can't think straight, and then I can't do all the things that I want to do. Now, you're going to come back to Saddleback and do a full seminar. And, of course, we've got all of your resources out on the table today and out on the patio. You can get any of those. Where do I get started? What's the first step toward brain health for me?
Okay, so let me give you a couple.
Okay.
Know what your motivation is,
All right.
and look at it every day. Otherwise, the monster billboards with those triple-decker sandwiches will run your life. So know your motivation. It's not hard. It's not magic. It's mathematics. You cannot eat. If you want to get healthy, you cannot eat more than 2,000 calories a day. And you have to count, because if you don't count, it's like spending money that you don't have, and you become bankrupt physically, and now what we know, emotionally, cognitively.
You know, there's a verse in the Bible that says, the heart is deceitful, who can know it? And what that means is we have an amazing ability to lie to ourselves. And I think one of the ways that we lie to ourselves often is how much we're actually eating. Because I'm not keeping a record, I don't, I threw that in my mouth, but I didn't really think about it, so I'm not counting it.
And people don't count the calories that they drink.
Yeah.
So if you really want to get well, keep with the trainer. I love that part, but you have to get your calories under control. And if you do what I suggest, you will enjoy food more rather than be a slave to bad food. And I sent you this email about, if you really wanted to change the world, start putting the calories on everything you serve at Saddleback.
Yeah, I thought that was a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to become the health nut now, the Gestapo for our food at Saddleback.
No. You're becoming someone who loves his congregation.
That's exactly right.
Who's informing them on what they're doing. And the culture will change radically, but you have to buy into it first, that if you overeat, if you overspend, then you're not being a good steward. I mean, once you buy that, and when I didn't hear back from you, I knew it was a hard thing for me. I went, I don't think he liked that idea. We need a little therapy to get this.
We built this church on donuts. But for the next 10 years, I love carrot sticks. Daniel Amen's going to come back to Saddleback and do a full-on seminar, and you can get all of his resources out on the patio. Thank you for being with us.